we got this.
Yeah, no worry. Go ahead.
Yeah, should I continue?
Yeah, we can hear you and everything is okay now. Yeah.
So the second is secondary prevention or treatment, which means that we need to intervene with those who are psychologically impacted and reach the level of having a diagnosis. And here we speak about a multidisciplinary team intervention. It's very important not only to provide medication, not only to provide psychotherapy, but to have a combination of looking into also the family of the patient, especially if we are talking about children, and to try to improve the living conditions of the family itself in order to find space for improvement. Speak more about a biopsychosocial model of intervention.
Il secondo livello di intervento è un intervento invece di tipo psicoterapeutico, che va a intervenire non soltanto sulle persone traumatizzate che portano i sintomi individualmente, ma in termini biopsicosociali sia sulla persona che sul suo contesto di apprendimento, come famiglie o comunque appunto i contesti di tipo sociale. Ok, go ahead.
The third is rehabilitation, which is trying to ensure that those who are improving, who are cured, will continue to be performing well in their societies. They are going to be not a burden on their families, but rather as a supportive individual. Because the impact of having a person with mental problems or mental disability, psychological problem in a family is a big problem worldwide. So what if it's to a family that is going through very poor economic and living conditions? So try to reintegrate the patient into his or her family and society.
Il terzo livello è un terzo invece livello riabilitativo, in cui il tentativo è quello di reintrodurre le persone portatori di sofferenza all'interno dei loro contesti sociali e familiari, in modo tale da farli di nuovo essere parte del contesto sociale.
Finally, it's important to keep in mind that the team you are working with, the mental health professionals, whether those are psychologists, psychiatrists, nurses, or social workers, or whoever is working with you, are also exposed to almost the same level of traumatizing events, because we live in this society, we go through difficulties, etc., etc., etc. So you need all the time to make sure that those people have their space to empty their cups, that those people are receiving care for caregivers or supportive supervisions, that their skills are all the time up to date, and that their capacities are continuously built. So it's important to pay attention to the needs of your team, whether this is psychological support or whether this is also support when it comes to building the capacities, training, etc., etc.
È anche importante tenere conto dello stress degli operatori, di come gli operatori che vivono in quei contesti abbiano bisogno di un supporto continuo, di una formazione continua, in quanto anche loro esposti a un ambiente assolutamente difficile a cui far fronte.
So finally, I'd like to thank you very much. I really appreciate your presence, and whoever would like to come to visit Gaza in the future, you are more than welcome to visit GCHP. And Guido, our colleague and friend, is always knows a lot about our work. You can, of course, get in touch with him for further information. Thank you very much, and I would like to give some space for questions, or if that's it, it's fine with me. Thank you for being here.
Siete benvenuti, se volete andare ospite del Gaza Community Mental Health Program, e chiede se ci sono delle domande da fare. Io credo che questo si possa sfruttare. If you have any question, please feel free to ask Yasser, otherwise we can greet him and we can continue. Any question? There is a question?
L'italiano, l'inglese, la faccio in italiano che lo traduce a lui per...
Okay.
Vorrei sapere se lavorano con il Ministero locale della Sanità e in che modo appunto il segmento della salute mentale è inserito per esempio ai livelli di per esempio del sistema sanitario, che so che è già nel livello della primary health care, quindi se su quel piano...
There is a question about the mental health system in Gaza. Do you have as a community mental health program connections and cooperation with the Ministry of Health, and how the Ministry of Health in a way is trying to create strategies and structures in order to introduce mental health in the general health system in Gaza?
I haven't heard it, unfortunately. Could you repeat it? You can just...
The question is, can you hear me now, Yasser? Can you hear me?
Yes.
So, is there any connection, cooperation of the Gaza Community Mental Health Program with the Ministry of Health, and how the Ministry of Health is trying to introduce structurally mental health in the health system of Gaza?
Okay, thank you very much. When we speak about the level of providing mental health, what we call specialized services, which means treatment, we speak about only two institutions that can offer that in Gaza Strip. One is our organization, Gaza Community Mental Health Program, which is a non-governmental, non-partisan organization that was established 29 years ago. And the other one is the Ministry of Health, the Palestinian Ministry of Health. So these are the only two organizations that can offer this kind of intervention.
Ok, ci sono soltanto due entità che possono in questo momento offrire servizi sulla salute mentale in Gaza, sono il Gaza Community Mental Health Program come ONG non governativa e il Ministero della Salute. Ok, yeah?
Until the year 2002 or 2003, I don't remember well, they haven't had any community mental health center, and the only facility they had was the psychiatric hospital, while in GCMHP we already had 3 community centers operating on the ground. Since 2003 they started to open community mental health centers, now they have 6 community mental health centers.
Fino al 2002-2003 non c'erano servizi di comunità pubblici, c'erano soltanto 3 centri del Gaza Community Mental Health Program e rispetto alla salute mentale pubblica un solo ospedale psichiatrico. A partire dal 2004-2006, non ricordo, invece il Ministero della Salute ha aperto 6 centri di salute mentale in Gaza. Ok?
We try now to do our best in order to avoid the application of services. We have a lot of people to work with and to help. However, there will always be a chance of the application of services, so that's one area that we try to cooperate. But in the same time, unfortunately, they are not yet equipped well to deal with cases of children, for example, to offer the needed the atmosphere for women, for example, to receive therapy. And this is something that's still unique for GCMHP, the ability to offer comprehensive mental health services to women and to children.
Quello che stanno cercando di fare è di non costruire delle repliche dei servizi, quindi di non sovrapporsi con il lavoro del servizio pubblico. Quello su cui ancora il servizio pubblico è piuttosto fragile a Gaza è specializzazione sui bambini e mettere a proprio agio donne quando entrano in carico nel servizio di salute mentale per qualche loro bisogno, e quindi il Gaza Community Mental Health Program prova a specializzarsi su questi due aspetti, bambini e bisogni delle donne sofferenti in Gaza. Ok?
Yeah, I think this is the main thing. It's yeah.
Okay. Any other question? Yasser, I have a question about the Great March of Return. What differences you perceived after this huge demonstration that is lasting since 1 year in terms of mental health needs after so cruel and violent reactions by the Israeli army who are injuring the
Sorry, we could just bring I mean,
what
yes.
about your perception changes on the mental health needs of people who are attending the Great March of Return and that were victims of injured by snipers and victims by this so strong and violent Israeli reaction? Do you perceive any change in mental health needs, and what specifically you are doing to confront with these specific needs?
This is a very important question. Now, let's keep in mind the drive, which is that people want to change. They want to have a good life. They want their freedom. They want an end to the conflict. So most of the people were just out there showing in peaceful manners how they want things to change. Unfortunately, the result was that they were met with excessive use of power by the Israeli army. I think until now the recent statistics show that I think 312 people got killed until the end of May, and more than or around 30,000 people got injured. Among those 30,000, we have 7,000 people who has gunshot wounds.
Allora, sicuramente questa dimostrazione pacifica ha avuto una reazione eccessiva di forza che ha portato...
When it comes to their psychological well-being, we had a small focus groups and research looking into their needs.
Ci sono stati dei focus group e delle ricerche per capire quali sono i loro bisogni. Ok? Go ahead.
And one of the issues that were always concerned was that they were afraid about receiving their medication. They were not sure that they are going to receive proper treatment at all. And this was one of the main concerns of these who got injured. Medical support was always a concern for them. Some of them need to be referred for treatment outside Gaza, and they couldn't really receive that referral. And they are just, basically, they don't have enough accessibility to medical services.
Ok, una delle più grosse preoccupazioni è il fatto di non essere poi aiutati in maniera corretta, ovvero di non essere curati nella maniera giusta, di non poter ottenere dei trattamenti medici specializzati in quanto non possono uscire dalla striscia di Gaza. Ok?
And then when you speak about the needs, you see that 50% of them still have problems with economy.
Altri problemi economici sono per gran parte di loro evidenti. Ok? Yeah? Go ahead.
And then you still see they have some problems with regarding the support means of coping. Unfortunately, only 11% of them report to have means of coping, to have just coping mechanisms.
Queste persone hanno poche risorse di coping e sono in bisogno appunto di poter riattivare queste loro competenze. Ok? Yeah? Okay. Go ahead.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. Any other question?
What did he mean when he said that injured did not actually the opportunity to access? Do you mean that they face difficulty to ask for medication, or they themselves reject medication? You hear me or not?
What do you mean, Yasser, when you said that there are difficulties about access to the health care to these injured people? Do you mean that you don't have enough instruments to help them, or they refuse to be treated?
Exactly.
Could you please repeat that? We do sorry.
I just asked in Arabic. حكيت عن اللي عندهم جرحى عندهم صعوبة في العلاج أو طلب العلاج. هي صعوبة ناتجة عن أنا فايز بحميد أستاذ جامعة نجاح استشارة نفسي وعلاج نفسي. كيف حالك شو؟ هلا. السؤال كان كيف هن ما عندناش اكسس هذول الجرحى، يعني هن بطلب، يعني هذا شيء انترنالي هن برفضوا ولا في مشكله بتوفير العلاج؟ شو المشكله بالنسبه لهم؟
Okay.
شكرا يا سيدي.
Okay, I'll I'll just thank you for the question. I just opened the file where we had our study. It wasn't just right in front of my face, so I'll just read what the participants' concerns. The question was about the concerns and fears.
That's true. Yes, فهمتك يا.
And the issue was that 28% of those who injured had concerns about medical treatment, whether those are going to receive enough medical treatment, while another 23% were worried about fulfilling their need to receive treatment abroad. You know, for people who got severe injuries, a lot of the facilities are not available in Gaza Strip in order to deal with these complex gunshot injuries.
Yeah.
And this might complicate things, ending with having an amputated limb or even dying from an abdominal injury, you know.
Yes.
So a lot of those are need to be transferred outside Gaza Strip, and this doesn't happen because the Israelis do not allow that transfer. So this is one of the issues. The other issue is that the hospitals in Gaza are depleted.
Yeah.
So imagine each Friday they need to make sure that they can operate with the wounded.
Yeah.
And in order to do that, they discharge people 3 or 4 days later in order to free beds for the next Friday. And the result of all of this was very complex for the injured people. So they go home after 3 or 4 days, and they are not sure who's going to continue the medical treatment for them. And then they need to seek that medical treatment. And the medical teams are busy with the next flow of patients. So this is the issue.
Ok, non è tanto una questione di recupero delle cure mediche, ma è assolutamente una preoccupazione dovuta alle condizioni mediche a Gaza, ovvero molti di loro sono preoccupati del fatto che non riceveranno delle cure mediche adeguate e che non riusciranno a essere trasferiti all'estero nel caso abbiano bisogno di cure specializzate. E con cure specializzate si intende per esempio le persone amputate.
And one thing which is...
Okay, go ahead.
As I said, like 50% were having economic stressors, as they reported. About 80% said that they are suffering more psychological stressors. You know, their psychological stressors have really increased after being injured. So this is again showing how it really immediately touched the psyche of people. People who are just showing that we need a change. You know, we need things to improve, and suddenly they end up being injured. Not able not to continue the demonstrations, not gaining anything, and facing the harsh reality again with lesser, let me say, mechanisms to cope with those challenges. Just being injured, not even sure that you are going to receive the needed proper treatment, physical treatment.
Quindi immaginate poi tutte le conseguenze psicologiche quando non potete avere le giuste cure mediche, no? E quando poi l'idea è non potremo più continuare a essere parte di queste dimostrazioni, essere parte di questa marcia che appunto dura da più di un anno. Very many thanks, Yasser. We need to conclude now. Your speech has been very meaningful, and thank you to have been here together with us. Looking forward to meet very soon in Gaza.
Yes, you are more than welcome. And again, thank you, Guido, for arranging this. And if you have some few minutes, Guido, to speak about your work in Gaza, it will be also good to tell people about. This might encourage more support to come in Gaza from especially academic institutions. Thank you again for everyone.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye. See you. Siamo stati fortunatissimi, soltanto un'interruzione con la connessione di Gaza, è andata giù l'elettricità, è risalita immediatamente e mi sembra che questo cappello fatto dal direttore del Gaza Community Mentale ha spiegato molto delle cose che ci siamo detti anche in precedenza. Allora, 15 minuti con Hala Pittani che ci racconta della sua esperienza come studentessa in Gaza e poi un commento e un intervento da parte di Monia Obadia che ringrazio moltissimo per l'estrema generosità con cui ogni tanto presenti ai nostri interventi, ai nostri seminari.